After a wild summer, from an assassination attempt to a candidate switch, the focus of both the Trump and Harris campaigns has started to narrow into 7 swing states and the 93 electoral college votes those states have. Both sides are going to be spending millions of dollars on advertising you'll start seeing very soon on every channel, including this one, I'm sure. And yet, we as voters more divided than ever. If a person is on Team Harris or Team Trump, it's hard to imagine them even speaking to each other at this point. So it's novel to see when it does happen and then go one step further and maintain a friendship. But it is possible. I'll let Sammy Selena take it from here.
Hi, Jana. So NPR recently spotlighted the Wrong About Everything podcast that brings Republicans and Democrats together to discuss and oftentimes make fun of an array of opinions. So we asked a couple of their hosts how to overcome communication barriers with the other side. And they told us it's all about getting back to the basics, recognizing the humanity in one another.
Awkward Thanksgivings, tiptoeing around coworkers, scenarios relatable during this election season.
Everybody's got them, right? That they've lost to partisan politics.
Yeah.
And I think there's sort of a hunger to how do we get them back?
Amy Koch is a Republican and former majority leader in the Minnesota Senate.
He's got some very nasty tweets about me.
I stand by them.
Right.
Javier Murillo is a liberal and progressive strategist, and they're friends with one another.
He goes to show.
I always introduce Amy as the only person invited to my wedding who tried to ban it from happening,
And I say, not his specifically.
which I always point out is not better.
Tim's the one who appointed me to the Met Council.
They join Republican lobbyist Brian McDaniel on the Wrong About Everything podcast, and for the past decade, they've discussed both sides of the political spectrum and made fun of everything inside of it.
We were in the political arena.
Yeah.
I was the Senate Majority Leader when the marriage amendment was put on the ballot.
Yeah.
You
I
obviously
hated your guts.
right?
So we became close doing the podcast, and we didn't set out to become friends. We were very funny about our own side.
They tell me laughing at their own side helps open up the conversation to people with opposing views.
You folks both work in politics, and that's part of the game, is that you have to talk with people with opposing viewpoints. How do people not in politics even begin to wrap their minds around having their conversation with that uncle, with their daughter who might disagree?
The fact that we work in politics actually makes it in some ways harder because we're in times that are so polarized and calcified, right?
I always say if we can do it, anybody can.
Yeah.
But there are times their differences stand out.
Saying
No, that's-
free Palestine is
That's
not
that's not
anti-Semitic.
anti-Semitic.
Well, then
but there's
that's
a
what I
lot
just
that
said.
isn't what is
you
going
can both
on.
settle down.
We're not trying to get to agreement.
And when that happens, they focus on their humanity.
Oh, hey, everyone, tone it down. We're just human beings who like each other.
I work on the friendship, and the rest of it kind of comes.
Right.
They say it's about finding common ground outside of politics and respecting the people in front of you.
I can also just acknowledge that people have different perspectives. It's not that they're bad or evil. It's they have just a different view. They have a different way they grew up. Everybody has that. Everybody's coming from that.
Amy and Javier say it's important to fully listen to the person in front of you, use respectful language in your response, and know that it's okay to agree to disagree. A lot of the time, that's the conclusion those two come to, Jana.
Yeah, they've been on the show a couple of times, and I've seen them forcefully agree to disagree several times. I'm sure you heard that if you listened to the podcast as well, so it is possible for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And they admit sometimes there's just people that you can't talk to that maybe aren't respectful. And they say, you know, sometimes you shouldn't have a conversation with this folks. If you're going to hurt them, they're going to hurt you. So make sure that that person is being respectful to you as well and use respectful language.